I think just being able to get in some extra work. I feel like the past few weeks we've had days where I've been able to get in the gym and just do a little bit more overall. That first stretch of the season was really hard, and now knowing kind of where the ball is coming from, trying to figure out how I fit in as a forward too, has been more comfortable the past couple games.
How much as a team has just been conditioning being a factor? How quickly you guys are all trying to play, and maybe you didn't have that time to work on that as much earlier in the season too.
Yeah, and I think just with chemistry too, like knowing how fast we have people that push the ball, knowing how fast Kelsey goes, how fast Caitlin goes, like you don't just you feel that in training camp, but then when you play that quickly right away, you kind of figured it out and learn. And so I think our ability to connect on that stuff, and with AB stepping up in a huge way, we're just all kind of figuring out where people want the ball, and it's looking better overall.
When you knew this was coming here was an option, how much was the factor of Caitlin was probably going to be here? This team starts to get really interesting, and there's a role right there for you to contribute.
It wasn't so much because by then, at that time, she hadn't announced that she was coming out, so I knew it was a possibility. It wasn't like the sole factor because she still had that chance to go back to school. Right. So I really liked what Lynn and Christy were building, and that's what I wanted to be a part of. And I knew that could be an interesting dynamic that would come with it. It's a lot of attention, a lot of fans to be in arenas, and it's been awesome since. And like you said, it was always there, but it wasn't a guarantee at the time.
Yeah. What's it like going from a different franchise to a different franchise? Like, it's not a lack of stability, but it's just a change in scenery. You have to create a new routine maybe with each team.
For sure, create a new team, new routine, create new relationships, get to know people, figure out where I fit in. It's definitely a lot, year in, year out, having to do that. Trying to just establish myself in a role when you're going and doing a whole new team, a whole new staff every single year has been tough. It's a lot harder than I think I let on sometimes, in terms of like, I'm more than happy to be where I am. I've had a great career, but I've wanted to find a place of stability. I wanted to be in a position where I can feel comfortable, where I don't necessarily have to come into training camp and figure out a whole entire new team.
Right.
But that's just the hand that's been my career, and so I'm embracing it. I'm going off of it. It's made me a better person, a better player overall, of being able to fit into any situation. I've played every different role in this league, whether bench player, starter, four, guard, whatever it is, I've played in every situation. So just picking and adapting up for that, it's made me a more versatile and more adaptable player.
Now that you've been through it, what was that first 3 weeks like, having been through that? Like, where you had no practice time, where you had no chemistry whatsoever, and the first couple games looked like exhibition games, right?
Yeah, it was rough, and we played definitely some tough teams in the league.
Too.
So, it was hard. We really tried to bounce back as quick as we could, and I think overall with some of the losses, how tough they were, I think we were pretty resilient in not giving up and not quitting on ourselves as a team. We really tried to come together, and that's what we're still trying to do and build off of it. And hopefully these next stretch of games, we can keep building, keep rolling, and then really figure out our stride.
I think we knew the offense with this group was always going to be there. And you've seen that with the 90-plus points the last couple of games. How about defensively? Where do you feel like that is coming along, and how much more maybe you guys can grow from there?
Yeah, I think it's coming along great. I think we're really working hard at it. I think when we decide that we want to lock in and play defense, we really play better on offense too. And so I think it feeds off of each other, but I think we know that sometimes we need help. And I think we have an understanding of we have to play good team defense. So everyone has been better about getting to the right spots, being in the right position, and that has just made it so much easier for us to play as a unit defensively rather than everyone one-on-one.
And it starts right with you winning your matchup, and then being in help side and being prepared on a string.
And trusting that the next line of defense is going to be there so we can fully commit to our schemes on the ball screens and stuff like that, and just knowing that if something does go wrong, we have that next line of help.
Last thing in terms of on the offensive side, screening was something that it felt like a lot of players were just going through the motions, or you're getting to your spot but not making contact. Christy, I think you guys either watch film or really emphasize that in a practice. What stood out to you about the changes that you have made and how they have helped in the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think that's what we've been emphasizing, screening, hitting someone. It's something that we hear every single day, top down, to be able to get the post open, to be able to get yourself open as a player, you really got to screen. There's time and places to slip, and I think now we're understanding the importance of screening as much as we can to just open up the court.
What is it? I think, won 3 of 4. I do believe 4 of 6. How do you feel, you guys have started to evolve and started clicking as a group?
Yeah, I think you can tell like our time off has certainly helped us. I think also just having some practice to go over some things and just you see us a little bit on a better page, I would say, in the offense, and I think on defense too. I think our last game was the best we've played offensively. I think it just seemed like there was a good flow out there. The ball wasn't sticking. We shot a high percentage from the field. But yeah, I mean, you want to keep continuing to stack wins. I think obviously tonight is another one that is a very winnable game for us, and then we play 5 straight on the road. So it doesn't get any easier. I think tonight is a very important one to make sure we win, honestly.
You mentioned that flow, and that's why I kind of wanted to pinpoint a little bit. What has kind of generated that? Are we just talking about time and getting used to folks, or are you guys doing something different in the operation?
I think definitely time. I think you can even see me and Aaliyah just having a better, connection, reading where each other's going to be, reading each other's eyes a little bit better. I think our bench has been really good. I think it'll be nice to get Temmie back and get her back into the flow of things. I thought Lexi Holt came in and played really good minutes for us last game. So I think it's just a connection, and like you build that through playing together. And obviously it was hard going from game to game to game. You only have time to build that in a game, and then now you've seen us, have some practice time. Like yesterday in practice, we went really hard. We played a lot live, and that's the best way for us to learn, is just to continue to play with one another. And I think everybody can kind of see the improvement, and Coach keeps saying like we have to continue to take a step forward. There's no time to go backwards, and like a game like tonight, you can't have a slip up and go backwards because it'll really cost you.
Speaking of that, it was a week ago that you guys were out there in DC. What did you take from that game that can be applied to tonight?
Yeah, I think honestly, like they're a pretty physical team. I think they're great shooters, which is a little bit different than Chicago. Chicago wants to get downhill a little bit more, so I think you have to kind of adjust your mindset, and like you have to be there to contest threes. And I think they're playing almost completely different than how we played them the first time. I think they're really starting to get their mojo and their feel. And once you get a few wins together, like that just gives you a ton of confidence. It gives them confidence. But, we've found confidence in kind of the same thing. So, it was a close game. I think, Atkins is playing really good basketball right now, too. I think Dolson, we kind of let get free there for some open threes. So I think those are all going to be important things. It's really defending the three-point line well. We can't, give up 12-plus threes. It's going to be hard to win.
You've seen every defense in the world from, college and I'm sure here. How have you seen them the opposing teams start to kind of defend you in different ways or give you different looks in these last, as the season continues to go on?
Yeah, I think teams are like running multiple different defenders at me throughout the game. I think it just depends on their personnel more so what I see off of a ball screen, whether it's, drop or whether like Cardoso was playing more drop coverage on me. If it was somebody else, they would maybe trap with Angel a little bit more. So I think it just depends on the game. Dolson's probably going to be in more of a drop or flood position on me. But I know I try to stay as prepared for, blitzes and traps as best as I can, because I've seen it a lot and I expect a lot of teams to do that. And I thought that's one of the biggest ways we've improved over the course of the year so far is, we've been able to play out of those a lot better. Aaliyah and Les getting the ball out of those traps and, attacking the basket. You have an advantage, it's 4-on-3. So I think we've got a lot better in that regard too.
Cool.
Sweet.
What improvements have you felt in terms of screen setting, getting you and everybody else open? Because that seems like it's been a real point of emphasis.
Yeah, I think, it's still something we can continue to improve on. I think setting and using screens is, that's how you're going to get open. I think for myself, like when I can set a screen for somebody and then come off another screen, that's when I find myself, really open on the three-point line. So the more we can get that action, I think it's going to be better for us.
Talk about that big road trip coming up. Like, what are the positives of something like that? Is it just getting out and only having each other?
Yeah, I think for sure.
I think
this game tonight is super important. You want to go into that 5-game swing of games on the road off of a win. That's something you build confidence from. So I think it starts tonight, honestly, at this game at home, and then you go on the road and you play 2 teams that you just beat the week prior, so they're going to want to beat you more than ever. So, but you should be pretty familiar with them and ready for the scout. I think that's another positive of it. And then we go to the West Coast for 3 really tough games. So I think just taking it one at a time and learning from each, and realizing our team has a lot more confidence and we're getting better with each game. And we're a lot different team than when we played some of those teams the first time throughout the year.
Can you take us through last night and the decision to touch the pool, and somebody was rooting you on and say,
I just wanted to see what the temperature was, honestly. Yeah. Like I didn't know if like those pools are cold or hot, and like They seemed pretty warm, I guess, probably so the swimmers don't get like shocked when they jump in. But yeah.
What was your big takeaways about that experience? I think there was a big pop for Reagan Smith when she set that world record.
Super cool. Like, it was really fun to be at and support all those athletes. Like, just incredible what they do. And I thought just like the energy and the environment, like all throughout, like the way the crowd cheers once, you know, gets dead silent when they start, and then everybody gets into it right away, especially when they're coming back down for the final lap. I thought it was, I don't know, it was super special. Like, honestly, I wish I could have stayed longer, but I had to get to bed. So, yeah.
I saw somebody posted a photo with you and Missy Franklin. Like,
yeah.
Did you follow her a lot growing up?
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, she's been like supportive of myself throughout my college career too. So I like previously, you know, talked to her and chatted with her. So it was like cool to meet her and you know, see their gold medals. One of them had a silver medal too. So fun experience for all of us.